sit next to me. I just want you here to see how it feels to be near you. I watch you sleep and I watch you breathe. Now all of that grief is through. I waited for you. I waited for you. I waited for you. I waited for you. For 12 long years, I cried all my tears, and all I wanted just to see you. Now that you're here, I can't say where I've been, but it never stopped me loving you. I waited for you. I waited for you. I waited for you. Waited for you. Sit next to me. I just want you here to see how it feels to be near you, to be near you.
Woo! That was lovely, Peter. Welcome, everybody. How are we all today?
Good, Becky, how are you?
I'm good. Aye, that was amazing, Peter. And you mentioned just before we came on there that that was a song about meeting your daughter for the first time.
It's the first time I'd seen her in 12 years, Becky. I hadn't seen her since she was 2. And it was a really intense experience, but it was the thing that had kept me going through like a lot of my years in it, even though that was the reason I hadn't seen her. But it was that kind of hope that I would see her again one day, and I did.
Yeah.
And now, you know, she told me she was proud of me the other day. Do you know what I mean? And it's amazing. Basically.
That was amazing. Aye, and that was absolutely beautiful. So thanks for being here, Peter. And we've got Jim with us this week. How are you, Jim?
I should have been I should have been sharper. I never unmuted myself there. Yeah, champion. I've been welding my son's car this morning, so I forgot to pull the mask down, so I'm a bit blurry eyed. I've got bright lights in my eyes with the welding.
Well, it's good to have you this week. We've missed you the last couple of weeks, so it's good to have you back. And we've also got Aidan on the show today. Aidan, hi, nice to meet you. How are you?
I'm all right. How's it going? That song was so beautiful, by the way. It made me think of my two kids and how grateful I am I'm in recovery and they're in my life. So what a song, mate. Thank you for that.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Aidan.
yeah. I think it's one of these things, isn't it, in our recovery to be blessed to be able to just start rebuilding those relationships that were damaged or potentially damaged. And yeah, it just shows how different your life can be in recovery as well, because over quite a short period of time, that stuff just comes back, doesn't it? I'm up at my mum's today. It's really nice. She lives in the middle of the countryside. My brother's here and his partner and my nephew and my other brother. And just being able to be at peace and be part of the family, to be really present, I think is an absolute pure gift that I've got in my recovery. So it's amazing. So how's your week been, Donna?
It's been all right. Just getting used to, I was getting through lockdown but taking regular naps, so having to be up all day it's been a challenge. But the nice weather's helped. And just building relationships with carrying on, building with the recovery communities and that, with a view to getting something happening.
And I think things are going to start moving, aren't they? They certainly at fulfilling North Lanarkshire recovery communities, we're thinking of a sort of forward plan for coming out of lockdown. Our recovery rambles have started back up.
Yeah, I saw that.
And everybody is just dying, and some people haven't met each other face to face. And some people have managed to get into recovery basically on Zoom. They're Zoom recoveries. I mean, I think that's really amazing. Powerful. Yeah, I don't know if I'd have managed it. One of the things, I was chatting to somebody last night who's thinking about it, who's really struggling, and is thinking about it, and she was talking about the isolation and where she lives, and it's easy for her to get what she needs. She's surrounded by people that use, and she's not sure if she can get this without, when she's sort of trapped in her own house. But my experience is that people do, because that you can be connected all day long and all night if you want. If you use fellowship, you can really get connected right in across the world. So I love it. And we've got the evidence of that, because we've got 4 or 5 people at least, probably more, that are sort of coming up for a year clean. I think that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
we definitely need to have a massive celebration that hopefully, Donna, you can organise for a big, huge music festival or something like that for coming out of lockdown now. And get everybody connected. Yeah. So I think I'm really grateful that we've got Jim here today, and Jim has promised to play for us this week. We haven't heard from him for a while, so that'd be fantastic. And he's playing one of my favourite covers. Maybe it might take you a minute or two to recognise what song this is, but it's excellent. We used to play this together when we played together, Jim? So I love this.
Yeah, sorry, we used to play Becky and the violin, and so you've got to imagine that kind of violin beat, you see, so we slowed it all down, but it's my favourite chaos song. I mean, when he wrote this guy was in complete chaos. I mean, it really was, and that's really why I was thinking of it. The words are brilliant. It's Hell's Coming Down with Primal Scream, but it's got a kind of strange beat, but there you go. Let me have a go at it. had me a woman. She gave me all her love. She gave me her blessing. I gave her my curse. I drove her crazy. I drove her crazy. Set her insane like a one-way train. In my lonely bed at night, I wish I could die. Hell's coming down. Ah, hell's coming down. Made love in the morning, got drunk at night. When she was sleeping, I stabbed her with a knife. I did deceive her. I was a midnight creeper. I roped her blind. I drove her out of her mind. In my lonely bed at night, I wish I could die. Hell's coming down. Ah, hell's coming down. Feel like the whole world is coming down on me. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Yeah. Pain in my heart and murder on my mind. I wish I could be with her. I wish I could kiss her. All right. In my lonely bed at night, I wish I could die. Hell's coming down. Hell's coming down. No sun in the morning, no love in my life. Since I lost my baby, all I do is cry. She won't come back. No, she won't come back. I broke her heart. I tore it apart. In my lonely bed at night, I wish I could die. Hell's coming down. Ah, hell's coming down. In my lonely bed at night, I wish I could die. Hell's coming down. Hell's coming down. Hell's coming down.
Oh, well done.
Quite a contrast to Peter's lovely song.
Brilliant, Jim.
Oh, that was amazing. Oh, really cool. Definitely one of my favourites. And I like the arrangement. You know, I think
Yeah.
I love it when somebody just twists a little bit with a well-known song, just twists it a little, and you're like, oh, what's going on there? And then you realise what it is. So, I
It tells
love
us such a story. It tells such a story about the chaos and the things and the thinking and what's
Yeah.
going on. You know, it just does.
Yeah. Oh, thanks very much, Jim. So this week, Aidan's come to join us. So it's really good to see you, Aidan. I wonder if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Thanks for having me on. You know, up until a few years ago, I was like another struggling addict. I was at the very worst of it, in the depths of hell, all the rock bottoms. And then I came back to recovery meetings, got clean. I started to write this book about my experience, all different things I'd gone through growing up in the working class area, all the violence, abuse, everything, addiction. And then I released a book which came out last year called Euphoric Recall. And that book has sort of propelled me into the conversation publicly about the drugs crisis. And I'm I never intended to become an activist or a campaigner, but now I'm an activist and a campaigner, and talking to all the relevant people in the government about how we make changes. And
Yeah.
I'm also a dad, and I've got a beautiful partner, and I'm just about to finish a master's degree in social work, and done my undergrad in criminology and sociology for me, for obvious reasons, because I wanted to understand some of the theoretical reasons for why people like me ended up how I did. So it's
Yeah.
kind of a wee description of what's going on for me.
Yeah, it's amazing, absolutely amazing. What made you write that stuff down? Was that part of just working through the thoughts and feelings? And, what was the thinking? Did you think to yourself, right, I'm going to write a book? Or was it just that, did it just sort of happen organically?
My mum said to me I always wanted to be a writer as a young kid. Ironically, she said I wanted to be a journalist. I'm kind of glad I never ended up as a journalist, but she said that's what I wanted to do. And then I got heavy involved in my addiction and never really went back to it. But I always wrote poetry. That's why I really appreciate lyrics from both the people that have sang here and the different lyrics. I always liked poetry because it was a way of expressing my feelings and getting them out. And the last time I came back to recovery was just almost 2 years ago, and it was after a really bad relapse. I got clean, and then someone that I loved dearly in my family passed away. And this might sound a little bit over the top, but it really was like after that person passed away, I was getting this message to write, and I went home and started writing. And I mean, at that stage, I was just putting thoughts onto a Word document. I had no idea that it would even go anywhere near as far as it has, but here we are. It's higher power stuff, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it is. I think it's so good to have like an outlet for those thoughts and feelings in whatever way that is. People do that in all sorts of different ways. But I think it is a really powerful thing to be able to describe to people that others can understand. Do you know what I mean? So, and I'm quite interested in that sort of boost into the public sphere as well. How does that feel for you? Because I know a lot of people who are very creative and that helps them in their recovery, and then they're sort of thrown onto this public platform and really struggle with that. So how do you sort of cope with that sort of public sort of that amount of interest from around about you?
It's been a mixture, and anyone familiar with recovery knows all about how we have to try and manage our ego, and it's like it can shoot way up there and it can shoot way back down again if I'm not managing that stuff correctly. I didn't expect to be involved in any kind of campaigning or that. I believed fully that my book would be something that people could relate to, not even just people in addiction, but anyone that's gone through a challenge in life, anyone with a mental health issue, anyone that's grew up poor or working class. I wanted it to be. It was literally like I'd done a share and just wrote it down, and I wrote it down in a creative way that I enjoy, a style of writing that I enjoy. As far as dealing with what's come of it, there's been pros and cons to that. The pros are it's reached a lot of people, and a lot of people have turned to me, and that's gave them a voice, specifically in West Lothian, where I'm from.
Yeah.
There are people dying here every day with addiction and mental health issues, and some of them don't feel confident in the politicians that are meant to be speaking out on their behalf, or there's some great services through here, by the way. I don't want to say anything critical of the good services, but there are maybe there's definitely a lack of services through here, as there's probably is all over Scotland. So these people have turned to me. It's been a double-edged sword. At times it's left me feeling extremely low and burnt out because I'm desperate to try and change things, and then I have to go back to my recovery sort of lessons about things that are out with my control and only able to do my part. And then when someone tells me like they got something from it, like I've had people from all different backgrounds contact me and say they've reached out now, or they've just started meetings, or the book's not about getting someone to join a fellowship or that, but someone's doing something positive to try and help their lives because of it. So those sides of things make it extremely a positive experience. As far as the media stuff, that's still doesn't feel real, man. It still feels bizarre.
Yeah.
Talking to folk on that, like I was talking to the drugs minister on yesterday, and we were on the phone for an hour and a half and having a very honest conversation about this problem. And I guess that inferiority complex can creep in sometimes and think, I'm a fraud. What am I actually doing here? But I am here on merit.
Yeah, and I think now it's where that phrase "experts by our own experience" comes from, isn't it? You know, who better to know exactly how it feels, what would have helped, what didn't help, than somebody who's actually been through that experience themselves. And yeah, I sort of identify a bit with that sort of being flung into the public light when I find that quite difficult to negotiate. I'm a member of the DDTF, and that seems to have sort of changed over the year. It's over a year now since it started, and it was just like being part of a big, huge meeting at first. And over the year, I think the voice of recovery has been taken more and more seriously until now. I say something, and then I hear other people like say, "Oh yes, we need to do that," and it's a bit like I still now and again have that sort of imposter syndrome, as we call it, you know, and think, oh my God, like, don't do what I say, you never know what might happen. But I think as well, it says something about, I think, Scottish society and Scottish politics, and I know there's a lot of issues related to addiction in Scotland, but I think we're also a kind country and want to do something. You know, I genuinely think that our government, with a small g, you know, the people that run this country, want to do something to change things and are looking for ideas, thoughts, people's experiences. So, it was really amazing having you along here. Where can we get hold of your book if we're interested in reading?
So the book is now available in paperback, on Kindle, and audiobook. You can go on Amazon, you can go on Guts Publishing's website, you can Google it and it comes up with all the different places. You can get it at Waterstones, a whole different plethora of places. It is in some bookstores as well, but I think we'll say more about that when the lockdown is eased, because it's probably not even worthwhile naming bookstores now.
No, that's true. Don't know which ones are going to reopen, but Audible is always available, always open. So that's amazing.
It's my voice. I narrated it myself.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's really cool. So Michael and I work for a recovery community in Forth Valley in North Lanarkshire, and we've got a women's group. They're thinking of doing a reading group. So we're sort of like a book club where you have to have read whatever, you have to have read the book, and then you share what you liked about it and that sort of thing. And I thought it's maybe quite difficult for some of us to read a book in a week or whatever. So we thought we might do an Audible type thing instead. So your book's on the list, definitely. So
that's why we done an audiobook. We wanted it to be as accessible as possible, because not everyone has the time or likes reading, but they want to enjoy a book in a different way. So
yeah.
Aidan, I wonder if I could ask you a question. It's a wee bit of a scary question.
On you go. I like scary questions. Go for it.
Do you think there's another book there? Do you think there's going to be another book there? Is it starting to haunt you already that you need to write? Is there something starting to well up?
I'm just getting started, Jim. I'm almost finished my next book.
Wow.
I've got 2 chapters left to write. The only reason I've not finished it is because uni kept starting and stopping with the virus, and then it just started again this month. So now I need to focus on uni and I'll go back to the book. But the book I'm writing is about lad culture and about the rave scene. And you know, I hate the word toxic masculinity, man. I'm fed up hearing it, and I just want to explain why lads were the way we were. That's what I want to explain in this book. I'm not trying to glamorize it. It was set in the noughties, kind of that generation of people. And I'm not going to use the words addiction or mental health in it because we never used those words. We never knew what the words meant. So I'm going to just explain what it was really like. So it may be offensive to some people, but it's not meant to be outrightly offensive. So to answer your question, I'm already on it.
Oh, that's fantastic. Because I say it's scary because sometimes getting started's the hardest things. I mean, folks out there, I honestly believe that there's talent deep buried in many, many people and they don't know it. And the opportunity just to get started is the hardest thing.
Yeah, definitely. And it's getting that wee bit of
So
success. Thank
well
you.
done, sir.
That wee bit of success for the first book has set something off inside me now. I know I'm a writer. I was always supposed to be a writer. I just went and got all this experience in my addictions. I've got plenty of material to look back on now.
Mm-hmm. So how do you actually work? Do you just sit and write and write and write, or do you have it well planned out? Do you speak it? How do you go about it?
I've still got that crazy addict head, so sometimes it's going through my head quicker than I can get the words out.
Yeah, I get that.
My phone's full of little notes, and if I'm in the shower and I get an idea, I'm shouting my partner, I'm like, oh, go and write this down, or text it to me, and my head's constantly thinking about it. And the reason I want to do it, like my book's kind of my story, but I want in this book to talk about my pals and why were we like that? Why did we use drugs all the time? Why would we take a baseball bat to the head for each other? Like, why did we live that way? There was reasons for it, and I want to explain that in the next book.
Yeah, brilliant. Oh, I look forward to it. Donna, that you've sort of been around this scene for a while, and I just wanted to bring you in, I suppose, and it's quite interesting to think about. I think that people in recovery are really creative. I've got a theory on why creative people are drawn to addictive behaviours, which I'll leave for another day. But, I just wanted to bring you into the conversation, really, and get your view on that.
I think that creative people maybe don't feel like they fit into the 9-to-5 world that's kind of set up out there, and that's maybe why we're drawn to addiction, because we don't feel as if we fit in there. Just meeting people like when I was still using, it was Darren that was doing stuff, and then like meeting Aidan and meeting like some of the rappers and stuff like that, and just all the creativity and some of the great talent that we've got in Scotland that doesn't really get like a platform. Do you know what I mean? It's people like Aidan and Darren and all that inspire me to do what I do and just try and give other people a platform. Do you know what I mean? Because I think it's all great, the work that's been done.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's been fantastic having you on, Aidan. If you want to come and catch up with us again, you're always welcome to join and
thank you.
And comment on any day, and have a conversation with any of the artists that we have on here.
Awesome, thank you.
We're nearly coming to the end of the time of today's show, so I'm going to invite Peter back in to play us out. If you've written something over the period of this half hour, Peter, I'd be really grateful. I'm only joking.
I was actually trying to finish a song, believe it or not.
But it's been fantastic today. So, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you all again next week. Peter.
Brilliant, thank you, Aidan. It was good to meet you, and I'm going to get that book. It sounds amazing. Last night I dreamt about you, like a scene on an old movie screen. You were just how I remember, and the world was the way it had been to me. To me, lived in a world so perfect, had no right to exist. Now that I'm looking back at it, thinking how did it all come to this? So far away, and it's a long way back. I live for the sun. I thought the sun lived for me. I've lived and I've learned that it's all live in me. I don't know how I got here. I was chasing the sunrise, it seems. And every road I went down to find it, it was the sunrise that was chasing me. I've had everything I've wanted, everything I didn't need. Now that I'm left here with neither, I don't know where it leaves me. So far away from me, it's a long way back. I live for the sun. I thought the sun lived for me. I've lived and I've learned that it's all live in me. I've lived for the sun. I thought the sun lived for me. I've lived and I've learned that it's all live in me. I stare at photographs of you. They seem so long ago, not real. Back then the world was right way up. At least that's how it seemed to me. To me.